Okay, welcome to Detroit in Black and White, Wednesday's edition. We've got in our upper left Jim Nardone and Eric Brown from Trenton, Michigan. And we've got Vanessa Moss from Detroit, Michigan. And Adolph is going to join us as soon as we've got a little glitch going there. But so why don't we start out with outrage of the day as opposed to the week or whatever. You guys want to start out there in Trenton?
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, let me start with the WNBA. So you have Derica Hamby, who is suing the WNBA, specifically the LA Sparks and the Las Vegas Aces, for discrimination, specifically pregnancy discrimination. And today, some text messages were revealed showing that her coach, Becky Hammons, actually did discriminate against her. And now people are calling for the termination of Becky Hammons, the coach of the Las Vegas Aces. As an HR professional, in reading these text messages, the WNBA is in trouble right now because you cannot tell someone whether or not they should be having a baby and then tell them that by having a baby is impacting the team and their ability to win. So shame on Becky Hammons, shame on the WNBA, and best of luck to Derica Hamby in pursuing this lawsuit, and I hope she wins.
Okay, Vanessa, or I'm sorry, Jim, go ahead.
I'll just go back to something we talked about a few days ago. I'll be brief. I have more of a question than an outrage. I want to know why, if the U.S. government, I don't care if you're Republican, I don't care if you're a Democrat, if we are, the TSA has placed former presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard on the Quiet Skies watch list, and I think they owe the American public an explanation. I know that the legislature in Hawaii has been communicating, and I guess a couple congressmen are asking the question. And again, if it's Tammy Duckworth, I feel the same way as I do about Tulsi Gabbard, who was, a Bernie Sanders supporter. What are we doing? Why are we harassing? Why is the government harassing?
Because she's full of shit. She's full of shit. She's a fascist. She's a racist. She's a fascist. She ain't shit.
Where you get that from, Adolph? Where you get that from?
Because I unfollowed her in Hawaii. She is a fucking racist piece of shit. That's what she is.
But do we feel the same way when it was John Lennon or Martin Luther King Jr.? What? Just because we don't like their opinion, should the government be harassing them?
The government been harassing people for a fucking long time. They got red files. They harass people for a long fucking time. Listen, so I don't care. You know what? Whatever they do, that's what the government do.
Jim, do you really think that they're harassing her, or do you think that they really believe that she's a threat?
Well, that's a great question.
Yeah, they all are threats. Yeah, she's a threat. You know what? Yeah, she's a threat.
She's a lieutenant colonel in the Army National Guard. She obviously has some kind of a clearance. So
it don't matter. I was in the military, and listen, people like Vance and them, I've dealt with them. Listen, the military, the first time I ever had real racism was in the military, was in the Marine Corps, was in Indiana, was in Princeton, Indiana. They wanted to just burn down a damn apartment building because I was swimming in there with a guy that was in the Navy with me. And they didn't like me being in there. So I understand all this shit.
I would say, I mean, some of it doesn't make doesn't make sense, and there should be an explanation for it, because what I've read doesn't make sense, that it seems so arbitrary and political and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there has to be something going on.
But wait a minute, isn't everything political though? That's what we're talking
Well,
about every day.
well, I'm saying, but
Everything
this
political.
is overtly, if I mean the spin that they're putting on it, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, is overtly political. But the question is, there's got to be more to the story, because it doesn't make sense with what's being put out so far. And somebody should clarify, because it doesn't make the government look good. And who knows what's going on with her? But I don't know. Maybe she's made some threats to people. But whatever it is, it sounds like an overreaction. I mean, you don't need, if in fact it's true, I just don't know what's true and what's not.
Isn't that our tax dollars that we're paying for 5 government employees to follow her around? She should, if she is a threat, she shouldn't be a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army. I will say that.
Yes, they can.
Why not?
We have had bigots and racists in
And
the military.
traitors. And
And
traitors.
Michael Flynn.
But is that a threat to? Is her being a bigot? She doesn't hold office a threat to national security?
Oh well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you. Listen. I was in the military. I done dealt with some of these assholes. But you know what? But I understand what you're saying, Jim. You know what? It is what it is. Listen, these are some different kind of times that we living in and what we dealing with. You know, Donald Trump made a lot of this possible. This is what we're dealing with.
I don't know about that, but
Yes, he did. Yes, he has.
I don't know about that.
Yes, he has.
He made it possible. He did not.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. They gave him a free pass. Yes, he has.
I disagree.
What about the free pass that Joe Biden has had over all these years? He's a racist.
I don't give a fuck about Joe Biden. He got.
But you can't have a separate. You can't have a separate standard for Joe Biden.
Eric, you need to become a Republican. Eric, you need to
because I'm calling Joe Biden out for being a fucking racist. He's a fucking racist.
You need to become a Republican, Eric.
So you're gonna give Biden a pass, but you want to limit.
I ain't giving Joe Biden a pass. I'm dogged up with Joe Biden.
Calm
down. Sound like to me?
Ladies, calm down.
No, ain't no ladies calm down. Joe Biden ain't got no pass. You don't like Joe Biden. Become a Republican. Eric, go and change your affiliation and be a Republican.
I don't have an affiliation. I will never have an affiliation.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You love the Republicans. So
I just hate the Democrats more.
Republican, Eric.
I hate the Democrats more.
Be a Republican.
Okay, are you gonna do your outrage? Or are you done? Because
Because
your voice is elevated. I haven't done mine. Alan hasn't done it. You gonna do yours, Adolph?
Adolph, go ahead. You have an outrage besides the
outrage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen. The outrage is that I'm here. Beating up on my friend Eric, who is my friend. He's my friend. Jim is my friend. You my friend. Alan my friend. But I'm gonna tell y'all, fuck y'all. I'm gonna vote for. I'm beat up on the vice president a long time ago, but I don't care. I'm voting for. We're gonna do what we need to do, and then here we are. You know what? It is what we have come to.
And there's nothing wrong with you being wrong. There's nothing wrong with
you. But as I wasn't here, and when J.D. Vance talking about stolen value, I was in the Marine Corps. People like J.D. Vance, they full of shit. He didn't go to war. He didn't do shit. Anybody that put on a uniform, I don't care what they did, whether they was in an office, whether they picked up trash, whether they picked up garbage, whatever they did, they served the country. Donald Trump was a draft dodger. He ran. His granddaddy ran from Germany because he didn't want to serve in the military. None of his kids never did shit.
Adolph,
So
I got a
anyway.
question to ask you. You know, we always tease Allan, I do, about how that guy occupies a space in his head rent free. What's up with this today with you? Who want to
Well,
talk
because
about
I don't want this asshole to get elected to shit. He can't be a dog catcher. He can't be shit. But anyway, here we are. We're at Ramsey, and I'm seeing y'all outside. Listen, is Johnny back, Jim?
He is not, but he's missing a beautiful night here in downtown Trenton. We just saw a sunset, and now we got a bad moon rising over here. So.
Okay, good. And there's no question about it. And here we are. Listen, I'm concerned because in the primary, only 15% of the people.
We talked about that Saturday.
Yes, 15% of the people just voted. That's
you and I, we predicted that it was. You and I talked about this, and we predicted that it was going to be a low turnout, so it wasn't shocking at all. But speaking of which, I'm going to ask you guys a question, but I'm going to talk about my outrage, and then I have a question. My outrage today is I was surfing, and I see this headline: "I'll pay for the wings." Chief star Chris Jones, is it Chris Jones or Chris James? Chris James offers to pay $1.5 million to free Illinois school worker sentenced to 9 years for stealing chicken wings.
She's a thief. She's a thief. She stole chicken wings that they supposed to give to people for those kids. And you know what? And I understand where you're coming from, but listen, she stole $2 million worth of chicken wings and sold and made the money.
Right.
She made the money.
Yeah, she used the facilities transportation system, their van, and made money for herself. And she did this during the pandemic. So, I mean, that is ridiculous. I understand what he's saying, but I'm on the same page that you're on, Adolph. I'm like, she knew doggone well she should not have done that. And you know what? Even if he pays the money, you still did the crime, and guess what? You're going to have to pay.
She need to stay.
I don't know. I don't know if 9 years.
I thought 9 years is kind of, but I'm not.
I think it is. I think
it's a little harsh.
9 years is very harsh. I do believe that she has to pay for her sins, but I think 9 years is a bit harsh. I don't think somebody paying the debt should get her off debt free. I think that is awful because during that time, we were in a pandemic. They're supposed to be getting food and they're not getting the food.
Jim,
and the taxpayers paying for how That's ridiculous.
What you think, Jim?
Well, we've been talking about this. We talked about this on Saturday's show as far as sentences and how much time people serve. So if she was sentenced to 9 years, she'll probably be out in a couple. So, I mean, it's a larceny or it's fraud or whatever it is. Typically, it's not a prison sentence, typically.
But I think it was a federal case because it was money that she stole. It was the money for the school, was federal money. Yeah. So I don't know about she being out
look,
in a minute. I doubt that very serious.
In the guidelines, the federal guidelines go, part of it is based on how much money was involved. Right. And if it's that much money, it's going to get time. I mean, 9 years sounds like a lot. I mean, it sounds more like a 3-4 year at most, and maybe.
But as you know, Allan, if the sentencing in federal prison is different than the sentencing in state, they do a third in
right. You get some good time. You get good time in federal, but in state it can be cut quite significantly. But in the federal system, if you get 9 years, it's probably you're going to serve at least 6. Unless, so.
Eric, what you think of that?
What I think is that time she spent in jail, they will assign her to the kitchen and she could cook all the wings that she wants.
Well, listen, I have a question for the panel. Did you guys read the article in the paper where Councilwoman Waters and Mr. Riddle is hurling these accusations and want an investigation as to they questioned the credibility of the
13th
action
district.
that took. Yeah, I'm like, how do you feel about? How do you guys feel about that?
Shree won. Shree spent his
Absolutely.
money. Shree spent his money. Mary Waters was rejected by the voters in the 13th district. You know what? She's a criminal. I voted for her because I like Mary Waters. And I had to hold my nose because I didn't really, I figured if I'm voting for her, I'm voting for Sam Riddle.
But wait a minute. You now I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Now you voted for her. And you said she's a convicted criminal, but there are people that's going to vote for the other guy for the presidency, and he's a convicted felon.
Okay, well, here we are. Okay.
Well,
she got beat by the machine. She lost to the machine, just like Hill Harper lost to the machine, just like everybody else loses.
Well, wait a minute. Shree wasn't part of the Shree wasn't part of the machine. He just had more money.
Well, the congressional district,
a lot of the Black Caucus endorsing.
A lot of congressional members supported Shree.
But I don't think that mattered. To be honest, I don't think it mattered. I think when they endorse and they back money, that's one thing. Like, Alyssa Slotkin's going to get money from the machine. Shree didn't get any money. It was all his money, and he just outspent her. And he
listen, Allan, they never campaign with an agenda on Shree. Right. Now, if I was running against Shree, his company experimented on dogs and animals and all kind of other stuff. Right. They never talked about that. Listen, so Mary Waters sat there, had no money. What I didn't understand that she had the mayor. Right. Duggan and all these folks stood up there. Warren Evans, they didn't give her any money.
Right, they didn't give her any money.
No money.
She did no money. She got at least 25,000 votes. She probably got the core of that was in Detroit.
If I was running a campaign, that was like a retainer to me.
No, I'm saying she got
$25,000 is not going to run a congressional damn campaign.
I said 25,000 votes. She got that probably from Detroit. Now, Detroit, I think, represents about, and correct me if I'm wrong, about 4.
I don't even think she got that from Detroit.
I don't know if she got total.
Of the people turned out, and only 18% of the people turned out in the county. So all them votes didn't come from Detroit.
But that's I'm saying,
but
I'm saying, look to go up against an incumbent. They don't. The Democratic Party doesn't stand against an incumbent like you think. They might be backroom deals, but they're not going to come out officially and go against an incumbent. They never do. When did they do that?
But the Democratic Party also isn't going to. The Congressional Party isn't going to back somebody who's not an incumbent who has a criminal conviction. That's from Washington's viewpoint, they're like, wait a minute. Yeah,
but even if she didn't have a conviction, they wasn't gonna support her.
Yeah, probably not. But that probably made it easier not to support her.
They wasn't gonna support her. And you know what? Shree is what Shree is. He spent all his money.
For the 13th district. He represents the district that we live in. I mean, that's the reality. He was able to retain his position. So
he's not the first politician that we unelected that done shit, didn't do shit, won't do shit, and will be in there as long as he want to run.
So with that being said, Adolph, do you think that the Democratic Party has a major get out the vote problem come November? Because only 25% of the people voted in the state.
Well, but you know what? Listen. If they want to win this state, they're gonna have to put a lot of money and a lot of people on the ground to get folks out to vote and stuff. And I say this all the time. You can be sitting across some voter precincts. Your house is across the school where you can go vote. It's 80 degrees outside and people won't go vote. They just won't do it. I don't understand it.
You know what? I think the Democrats, I think, have put together an organization. I went and covered on Monday night over at the Garden Theater. It was Black Women for Harris. They had Maxine Waters. They had the Lieutenant Governor from Illinois. And if I could play, this is one of the attendees.
You ain't got to play it. We good.
I think she's a dynamic Black woman. She's fearless. She's what our country needs in terms of someone who has a backbone, who's not going to take, no lying down.
Trump inspire you more to get involved when he talked about her not being Black or this or that, or is that just sort of noise?
That's noise. I mean, we're used to Trump just saying things to get a rise out of people that have no basis in fact. So if anything, it just made me roll my eyes. I was not fazed by it in any way.
You know what? I must say, and I said this last week, and I think I said it. I know I said it to Eric. I'm really inspired because I never thought that when the former president Barack Obama, when he won election, I never thought that I would see that, let alone my mother. And so I'm really excited that we actually have a woman that has a real chance of becoming the president of the United States, and not just a woman, but a Black woman. So I will say that I'm really excited.
Is she really
about
Black?
that possibility.
Is she really Black?
Well, she's yes.
No.
But
I mean, what are you inspired that she's a Black woman, or are you inspired by her politician acumen? Because one should matter more than the other.
You said what now?
I said, are you inspired by the color of her skin, or by her political acumen? Or her political acumen? Because one should matter more than the other.
You said something at the end. I'm inspired. I thought I was articulate. I thought I articulated. I am inspired by the fact that it is a woman and that she's a Black woman, and the possibility that she will be the leader of the United States of America. I am excited about that. And listen, when we talk about acumen and credentials, obviously she has them because she's running. So yes. Now,
obviously she doesn't have it, because what we need to realize is
you can argue all you want. You can
I'm not arguing. You're talking about political acumen. Had there been a primary, she would have lost. Had there been a primary, she would have lost.
Wait a minute. Let Vanessa say her thing, and then you, Eric. Go ahead, Vanessa.
So I've already said it. That's the end.
Okay, Eric, go ahead.
But see, and this what bothers me about
I don't care about it
Black community.
Let Eric talk.
You have a color of a skin that plays more than the political acumen. Not only that, had there been a primary, you would be singing a different tune, because she would not be that Black inspirational.
But the picture goes to stores, Eric.
The fact of the matter is, she is, and I am.
Okay, good luck to her.
I think. Let me say something. I think what Kamala Harris, before this sort of change of this sea change here, I think some had questions about her, whether she was qualified or whatever. I think when it happened to be that she was sort of thrust to
she qualified.
No, I'm saying
throw that out there, because she is qualified.
I agree. Let me finish, please, Adolph. Let me finish. I'm saying she is qualified, and I think people have given her a second look and realized that she does have the potential to be president. She does have the credentials to be president, and particularly when you compare who she's running against, it's no contest. I mean, you look at, the third party candidates are nothing. I mean, RFK Jr., Cornel West, Jill Stein. I mean, they're zeros in here. I mean, it's really between two people.
Zeros as far as what? How you say Cornel? Zeros as far as what?
Zeros. Let me go to Jim. Jim, what are they saying downriver about the vice president?
I talked to a friend of mine the other day, and I was talking about a couple things. And somebody that's really not political said, I asked him a question about something that happened and said, why do you think that happened? Why are you so upset about that? Aren't you upset about the Democratic Party trying to kill President Trump? So the questions are out there. There's a lot of
by the registered Republican who shot him.
Well, that's up, and he was 19 years old or 18 years old.
No
You're gonna
matter.
hang your head
Well,
on
how's
that,
he a
Alan?
but Jim, how is he a Democrat then? Why is he suddenly
They said he
automatically a
voted the
Democrat?
Democratic primary.
I don't think he said
No
that,
matter.
Alan. I think he said that the Democrats are responsible. So
Right.
basically,
I
think
didn't
what he
say
said
that.
is they
Somebody asked me that question.
Somebody
Right.
asked me that they put
They're
a battery in his
suggesting.
back. Okay,
They're
It doesn't
suggesting
matter
that.
what party he is. I don't care if he's
think I agree. That I
he
agree
tried
with
to
you,
kill
Jim. It
the
doesn't matter.
former president. My point wasn't whether he's a Alan. You're caught up on who's who, right? It ain't who's who. We're all
No,
Americans
Jim,
here.
you
Quit.
you suggested that this person was you said this person was suggesting, unless I heard you wrong, this person was suggesting that the Democratic Party was behind that. Am I correct, or did I hear you wrong?
That's not what I said.
Okay, go ahead.
I
Clarify.
said somebody asked.
You processed it wrong, and I'm going to say
Somebody's-
this, Alan.
Well,
You said that the third party people are zeros. I disagree with you. I disagree with you.
The third party is going to play. Jim, go ahead. Go ahead.
The
Let
first
Jim
thing
finish
Alan
this
said about when you talk about credentials, about the vice president, who I will tell you, she's got the credentials to be president of the United States. I don't even know I were discussing that. But the first thing you said was, well, look at Donald Trump. People need to look at the big picture. And I would encourage everybody out there that's watching us, please watch us. Make up your own damn mind. Don't let people convince you how to think for yourself. That's how China ended up the way China is, and that's where we're headed.
Well, Jim,
Okay,
that's what the show. Let me say one thing. Right.
Alan, let's take a break.
All right.
Let's take a break, and we'll come back, and we'll go on the other side. We got Eric Brown. We got Jim Nardone. We got Vanessa Moss. We got that guy from Deadline Detroit, Allan Lengel. I'm Adolph Mongo. We'll be right back.
Neighborhood beautification. That's very important to Detroit. It's very important to block clubs, organizations, and people who live in the community. We got started with 2 lots and a vision of a treehouse center. Because if we can take these blighted lots, Detroit give us grants to be able to do something with them that the community wants, it's a plus because we're bringing our neighborhoods back to where we want them to be, where they should be. All because I live in Detroit.
I was
in so many people's heads.
I was going to say one thing. When Jim says, don't listen to whatever, that's what this show is about, is for us to express our opinion. People don't have to listen or take in our opinion, but we're here to express our opinions, our views, and people can take it as totally be dismissive of it or consider it.
If I'm going to be a dictator, I'm muting all y'all.
Yeah.
That was my point, Alan. You can listen to us, but make your own decision. That's the point I tried to make.
Right.
Listen to us. When CNN doesn't report that a former congressperson that ran for president of the United States is being harassed by the U.S. government, when ABC and NBC doesn't report that, I think we have a problem. It's not a Democratic problem. It's not a Republican problem. It's an honesty problem.
But Jim, we ain't had that problem, and I didn't like Hillary Clinton when she ran and stuff. But the FBI harassed her and did all kind of shit. They've been doing this shit for years. There ain't no question that the government been harassing people for years. So I'm not surprised that the government is doing what the government is doing. Now
we should call it out. Why are we letting it go on? And why are we calling
you gotta talk to the media, you gotta talk to the journalists, you gotta talk to all that. Now let's go. Here we are on the other side. Eric, your final thoughts.
You can come in and sit down if you want.
No, I just wanted you to keep it.
Eric.
Oh, too bad. Have a good night. Get
out
of here. Go on. It's ain't your property. Get the hell out of here. We don't want you here. I don't know who you are. You don't matter. Call the police if you don't like us.
Uh-oh.
Who are you?
Uh-oh.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, no.
So what we got going?
Oh, my goodness.
Complain about something.
I'm not bothering him.
Well, this is what we deal with. What is he harassing us?
Yeah.
He don't like the
My final thought
conversation.
is, to piggyback on what both Vanessa and Jim said, is that at the end of the day, people just need to think for themselves. Not just go along to get along. And you want to say do research, but we know that's not going to happen. But at least do some sort of investigation of all of the agendas and platforms of the candidates, no matter what they're running for, locally, school board, all the way up to the president, and make up your own mind. I think far too often there's just too much fellowship, and there's a lack of leadership on the part of those that are asking for votes. And I think that's one of the things that the candidates should be telling the voters as well. If you want to know more about me, the receipts are out there.
Ain't no
Look at the receipts.
Vanessa.
Well, listen, I want to piggyback on sort of what Eric was talking about. To all of our Detroit and Black and White viewers, I'm going to ask that you support me. I am involved in a movement. The movement is for me to become a judge at the 36th District Court. I am a write-in candidate. You could do your research on me. What I do on this show is completely different than what I do in the courtroom and what I do in the community. I think it is very important that people not only look at the top of the ticket, but you got to turn that ballot over. And you need to look at the people that are running and sitting in these positions as judge. We'd had a spirited conversation last week about, the judge who handed out the sentence to Mr. Jackson Bolano. And so it does make a difference. It doesn't matter what politics you are, what political party you're affiliated with, because it is a nonpartisan seat, but it does make a difference as to how you view the community in which you serve. It does make a difference as to what kind of experience you have, not just legal experience, but life experience. I think that makes a lot of difference. So my parting thoughts is Vanessa Moss for judge, write-in candidate. We only have 84 more days.
Okay, Jim.
I'm just happy to be here. I just hope we stay. I just hope our country, regardless of who wins this presidency, we move on and we quit being obsessed with other parties and other people.
Okay, Allan Lengel.
I'm going to do my outrage of the week since I didn't get a chance. I'm going to say RFK Jr. I mean, look, the guy brings up, he's brought up some fair issues and issues that we should consider, but he's also, I don't think he's totally all there. He's tried to trade with Trump an endorsement for a cabinet position. Trump people finally said no because they said this is going to look bad that we're giving away a cabinet position for endorsement. Now he's reached out to the Kamala Harris campaign, again, asking for an endorsement for a cabinet, and they have not responded, and I hope they don't. So,
well, you know what? Listen, Trump gave Ben Carson a cabinet seat. He gave all kind of shit. Right. People, listen, Granholm is in the cabinet, and she ain't shit. And she shouldn't even be in the cabinet. So it is what it is. When the
we agree there, Adolph.
I just don't think RFK Jr. is. I mean, he's just as qualified as Jennifer Granholm, because she blew us away, and when she was her last 4 years as governor. But anyway, listen, I thank y'all for being here on Wednesday. We're gonna come on Saturday. This is Detroit in Black and White. Jim, we're at Ramsey's, right?
Well, we have fans, it looks like, so drinking their beer and hanging around. So I think that's illegal to walk up in someone else's yard when you're without carrying a beer.
Well,
like that.
I don't want you to get a case, Jim. I don't want you to get a case, man.
I think we'll be okay.
Oh, no question. Listen, here we are. We'll be back on Saturday. This is Adolph Mongo. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Vanessa. Allan Lengel. Trump is in your head. And listen, they all in our head for the next how many days, Vanessa?
84.
days. We have 84 days, and it is really heating up.
Yeah, and before we go, I heard this rumor that Big Gretch is if Harris wins, she's going to DC,
I've heard that
and they
rumor too.
telling people that Garland Gilchrist is the person, and nobody's gonna run against him. I don't believe that. So,
Nah.
All right.
Me.
Who in the fuck was that guy?